If you do not mind, then appreciate my efforts by subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much in advance.
Southern Ukraine is endless flat steppes. Any mistake in the open can cost both sides dearly. But it is especially difficult in such conditions for the advancing Ukrainian troops. A successful offensive requires superiority in manpower and equipment, but it is especially critical to have an advantage in artillery. The Ukrainians have already taken fire control of all stationary crossings. The bridges over the Dnipro have either been partially destroyed or are regularly fired upon by HIMARS. We have already talked about this extremely effective weapon in one of our previous videos. As a result of the work of HIMARS, the group of Russian troops on the right bank of the Dnipro River is experiencing supply difficulties. This is a good moment to attack. However, the launch of one HIMARS rocket costs $150,000, and a salvo of 6 rockets costs almost $1 million. It is very expensive, so these systems are used for strategic purposes: bridges, headquarters, ammunition depots, etc. While to destroy the fortified positions and equipment of the invaders, a dense artillery brigade is needed, which will clear the way for the advancing side. The lack of artillery forces the Ukrainian government to look for any opportunities around the world. TRF-1 howitzers were accidentally discovered in the depots of the French army. Fortunately, they did not have time to send them to the smelter. It turns out that French forgetfulness can also be useful. The deal was approved by the French government. Chances are, by the time you're watching this video, the TRF-1 is already doing its job. A big plus is that these guns were not used extensively, so the wear of the barrels turned out to be minimal. The best part is that TRF-1s can use 155mm 6.1-inch NATO standard ammunition. And after a little modernization, the French howitzers are capable of firing even high-precision guided projectiles and inflicting dagger strikes on individual targets. More will be said about the tactics of using TRF-1 by Ukrainian artillerymen. In the meantime, let's take a closer look at the French cannon. TRF-1 is a towed gun. However, the cannon can move independently. True, the speed of movement is only 5 miles per hour. However, this is enough to independently enter the firing position off the highway. The TRF-1 can overcome obstacles in fjords that are inaccessible to the tractor. The depth of the ford or the height of the obstacle can be up to 4 feet, and the steepness of the slope can be up to 31 degrees. These are extremely important characteristics for fighting in the south of Ukraine. A little further, it will become clear why. The first prototype of the TRF-1 appeared in 1979. Between 1984 and 1993, 105 units were produced for the needs of the French army. But after 10 years, the famous Caesar self-propelled gun replaced the TRF-1. The fact is that at the end of the 90s, the world of weapons began to abandon towed artillery in favor of self-propelled guns. Satellites and UAVs have greatly increased the effectiveness of counter-battery combat. A howitzer on its own is much more likely to survive on the battlefield. Due to uselessness, France sold some of the guns to other countries. A total of 66 howitzers were sold. Saudi Arabia acquired 28 guns. Senegal bought 8 howitzers. Morocco, 18 units. Cyprus, 12. No more than 39 TRF-1 units remained in the warehouses of France, which were discovered by Ukrainian emissaries. Of course, the TRF-1 is far inferior to the British 777 howitzer, which is considered the gold standard among towed guns. These weapons are also used by Ukrainian troops. However, in terms of basic parameters, the French gun is no worse. For example, the TRF-1 has a rate of fire of 6 rounds per minute and a range of up to 98,500 feet. The range factor of the TRF-1 depends on the type of ammunition used. Approximately the same characteristics of the M777, which was nicknamed the 3 Axes by the troops. What the TRF-1 doesn't have is a high-precision digital computer fire control system like the British towed artillery digitization. Such a smart system aims at the target using GPS and coordinates received from reconnaissance UAVs. Another disadvantage of the French TRF-1 is its large mass. The weight of the gun is almost 24,000 pounds. The British M777 is 2.5 times lighter due to the use of light alloys. On the other hand, modern materials have made the British towed howitzer the most expensive in the world. The price per unit is almost $4 million. The cost of the French TRF-1 in the prices of the 90s is an order of magnitude lower. And the decommissioned guns were completely sold to Ukraine for half the price. Most of the amount was paid for the modernization of the guns. The tactics of using TRF-1 in the southern direction of hostilities are as follows. Towed guns have limited off-road capability compared to their self-propelled counterparts. Therefore, over long distances, the TRF-1 is transported on public roads by a tractor. The length of the gun in the stowed condition, with the beds flattened and the barrel turned forward, is just over 26 feet. Together with the tractor, the installation length does not exceed the length of a conventional truck with semi-trailer. Crew, 7 people plus 1 tractor driver. At a given point, TRF-1 unhooks from the tractor and advances to the firing position under its own power. The driver parks and camouflages the tractor nearby. In such a situation, the tractor also serves as an ammunition depot. If the firing position is long-term, then the stock of shells is unloaded, and the tractor goes for the next gun. Thus, one transport can serve several guns at once. The width of the roadway on the roads of the Southern Front does not exceed 36 feet. For such highways, there are standards for the depth of lateral longitudinal ditches. This figure does not exceed 4 feet, and the slope angle is usually less than 30 degrees. Therefore, TRF-1 is able to independently move off the highway and select a suitable firing position. And after completing the task, either return to the waiting tractor or hide in the forest belt, which usually separates the track from the plane. TRF-1 has a carriage of a traditional design, a platform with 2 sliding beds and sprung wheels. On the right is an additional wheel of small diameter. The engine is placed at the front. The movable bed from above gives guidance in 2 planes, horizontal aiming from 27 degrees to the left and 38 degrees to the right, vertical from -6 degrees to +66 degrees. The task of the TRF-1 is to quickly and accurately fire indirect fire on the forward forces of the enemy in order to sow panic and force them to leave their positions. The second mission is to suppress enemy artillery. Firing can be done from stationary positions covered by air defense systems. But now this option is unattainable for the Ukrainian troops, so the crews have to act as quickly as possible. What tactics will the Ukrainian artillerymen choose when liberating the southern territories? A barrage of fire or targeted destruction of equipment and dugouts? We'll all find out very soon. Video materials of this battle will definitely be at our disposal. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything.